where you train for 6 hours a day, day after day after day.
You didn't follow your fucking thyroid taper at all. And they're like, I didn't think so. I felt fine. I'm like, dude, it's not about feeling fine. It's about figuring out how much we need to start your fucking thyroid production by itself.
Honestly, the people who make the best progress are the ones who just don't miss because it's a part of their everyday life, but it's like an afterthought almost.
It's a part of my life. It is not my life. Great ideas only work when we can finish them. There need to be people in our lives that we give that permission to, that we share everything with, because if I was to go, you're the person I'd want that would keep my house in order. You're the person that I trust, and so I need that same in return for me, not just the people around me.
Welcome back to another episode of Business, Brains, and Bronze, baby. We are back this week with myself, Nick Justice, Taylor Moore, and Mike Croson. How's everybody doing today, gentlemen?
Good. No
Awesome,
complaints
man.
today.
Yeah,
Monday, mixing up a little bit. You were out of town. Yeah. It was crazy weather, everything. So being consistent, still getting it in before the next one drops.
Yes, sir. Dude, yeah, being out of town. Oh my God, dude. We did so much in Canada. I'm so happy to be back.
Where did you go with Hostile?
Bunch of clips.
Yeah, we were I was up there with Hostile. So it was Fuad brought myself, Ben Chow, and then Tyler Neely. Tyler Neely's one of our athletes. He's a big motherfucker.
Absolute freak.
Yeah. He's crazy.
I don't know, like the fact that he's not pro yet. I mean, obviously I know I don't even think he's done a national show yet, but like, Jesus Christ, he's insane.
He's a really nice guy. He's fucking dense and he's big. And we trained legs. It was one of the days we were there. It was me, Ben Chow, and him, because Fuad got sick. Otherwise, Fuad was going to train legs with us. And I know how Fuad and Ben like to train legs, and it's very high pace. It's very high volume. And I knew right going into it, I'm like, okay, dude, if I didn't start doing my cardio this past month, like I'd be fucked during this leg workout. This was Tyler's first experience of like training with Ben. And I'm literally just getting throwbacks the entire time. I'm like, yep, I used to be in your same position, buddy. Lower back pumps, fucking not wanting to do the next set, out on the ground throughout the workout. And I'm like, wow, if this was me 3 months, if I wouldn't have been able to do this 3 months ago because my cardio would have been so bad.
Look at that.
Jesus.
Paid out.
Yeah, I fucking loved it. My legs are still so sore, but we had a great time up there, man. We had a lot of good food. Oh man, we got fucked at the border, bro. Dude.
Canada border's very strict, isn't it?
Well, it was coming back from Canada into the States, and it was terrible. So we're coming back. I'm going to try to make this as short as possible, dude, but it's like there's nothing really short about this story, okay? So we're coming back across the border, and you know how, like, in Canada, almost everything's decriminalized, okay? But what most people don't realize is Border Patrol is federal. So, like, federal law trumps state law, okay? So we're coming across the border, and I didn't bring any gear with me at all right? I'm just like, literally the day before I left, Cam was like, hey, yo, let's fucking run this cycle. And I'm like, all right, perfect. So I didn't bring anything with me, though, because I'm like, dude, what happened? I'll start a week late. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Didn't bring anything with me because I didn't want to risk it. Same thing with Ben. Same thing with Tyler. We didn't bring nothing with us. On our way back, there was these huge lines coming into the border. So then Fuad's like, all right, where do we go, guys? Like, which line should we pick? And then Tyler's like, go behind the blue Subaru. And then Fuad's like, all right, if we get stopped, like, it's your fault. Motherfucker, we get stopped. Okay. So they're asking us these questions, and we're trying to get back to the airport in Detroit to make our flights. And she's like, all right, guys, can you pull up over there, please? And in the meantime, I saw some Border Patrol agents like around the vehicle, just like looking through the windows. And then I saw some other people like talking on radios as they're looking at us. And I'm like, dude, these guys see how big we are. And they're like, yo, let's try to get them for steroids. I swear to God. That's what I was thinking. I was like, dude, they're profiling the fuck out of us right now. Okay.
Good job.
So then I'm like, or Fuad's like, yeah, we'll pull over there. We pull up over there and we get out of the vehicle. And like automatically the Border Patrol agents are making jokes. They're like, where the fuck were you guys? A wrestling competition? And we're like, no, we're doing a photo shoot. And they're like, a wrestling photo shoot?
Yeah, you want to wrestle?
Yeah.
How about this? If I beat you, you don't check my car.
Yeah, literally. They were like, all right, they were like done joking around. And these guys, nobody's being assholes, okay? And they're like, guys, just leave your phones in the vehicle, go inside, give them they'll tell you what to do next. So then we go inside. They tell us what we're doing, and in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, they're probably just going through the vehicle right now. There's nothing for us to worry about. Maybe like an hour later. Okay. An hour. Yeah. An hour later, we're sitting there and an agent comes in. He's like, whose is this? And he holds up this little like cigarette container. And I remember, I'm like, fuck, I've got 2 joints in there, bro. So like 2 nights prior, before dinner one night, I was just outside smoking a joint with Paul, Fuad's best friend. And Paul's like, everybody knows Paul to be like a chronic stoner. Okay.
Bro, I smoked with him at Universe. It was so fun.
It's so fun. It's the best time ever. That's what I'm saying.
He's the funniest dude ever.
Yeah. So as we went into a good dinner, he's like, hey, do you want these joints? And I'm thinking to myself, like, hey, I may smoke them later. So I'm like, yeah, sure. But we were so busy that I only had time to smoke once when I was there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I just put them in my bag and just forgot about them. And I'm like, yeah, sir, those are mine. And he's like, all right. So they bring me back. They fucking interview me. They question me. All right. In a room. And then they bring me back to another room and they fucking search me. All right. So they tell me to take my shirt off and then I keep my pants on. And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on here, dude? So then these guys are like, are searching me. And then I'm kind of nervous. All right. And I'm like, Nick, you got to break the ice. Just like chill the fuck out. That's what is going through my head. Like break the ice, say something funny. All right. So the guy's like, all right, I'm about to put my hands between your groin. Just tell me if anything hurts. I'm like, okay. So he puts his hands between my groin. He goes up the center of my groin. And I literally say, and my hands are against the wall, like right now. Okay. And I'm like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. These fucking dudes start laughing their ass off. And I'm like, okay. And then I was like, not anxious at all anymore. Okay. Oh, so I'm like, okay, that's good. Whatever. But they search all of us. Okay. They search all of us in separate different rooms and they interview all of us. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? So once we were like all back in the seating area, we were all talking to each other. We're like, yo, like, what did they ask you? Like, they asked us all the same questions. They wanted to just know that our stories lined up. But they did that 2 or 3 different times to each of us.
To see if the story changed.
Exactly. So then we, as we were sitting there, the entire room is filling up with people. Okay. So we must have crossed the border at a time where they were like, all right, guys, let's be really strict and let's start pulling people over. So the entire room was filled up. We were there for 3.5 hours. I had to pay a $500 misdemeanor fine for crossing a federal border with a controlled substance, 2 joints. Now these joints, mind you, bro, smaller than cigarettes. And I'm literally saying like probably that tall. Okay. I swear to God. All right. And the fucked up thing was too, Ben had some actual prescription medication that he takes. They confiscated that and made him pay.
What?
Yeah. And Fuad had his medication. They didn't confiscate that and they didn't make Fuad pay.
Is that not illegal?
Apparently they did it. And I was really shocked because I literally went up there to answer some contact information questions. And then I saw our evidence bags or my evidence bag, and it was my 2 joints in it. And then the evidence bag next to it was Ben's medication. And I went back and sat down next to Ben. I'm like, Ben, like, bro, that's your shit. Like, they can't do that. That has your name on it. That's prescription. And he's like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Did he freak out?
He was really good about it. He didn't freak out. No, he just went up
At that point, you probably just wanted to leave.
Yeah. So we all get out of there. I was more worried about how it was going to affect Fuad, because Fuad crosses the border weekly because Hostile is a Canadian-based company with an American branch. So I was really worried about, I was like, dude, if I can't cross the border for 6 months, it is what it is. It's whatever. I'm like, but guys, you need to tell me if this is going to affect like my boss. And they're like, no, it's not going to affect him at all. Like that right there is when my anxiety started to come down. I'm like, okay, thank God. Like that's good. Cause I would have felt so bad. Yeah. But then we leave. We're all pissed off. We missed our flights. I missed my flight and I decided not to get another flight. I was like, I'm not going to have Hostile pay $1,200 for a 43-minute flight back to Milwaukee. So I went to get a rental car. The rental car place, 2 places were sold out of one-way rentals. So then I left all of my luggage at one rental car place, walked in the cold, probably like maybe a little bit less than a half mile to Hertz rental car. Okay. And I'm in my cowboy boots and a pair of fucking shorts. Okay. And I'm walking down the road and all these like shuttle buses are driving by me. I get to Hertz and it's just packed. And I'm like, dude, I need to think some shit up real quick here. I see the manager. I call the manager over to me and I'm like, dude, are you guys sold out of one-way cars? And he says, yeah, we are. And then I'm like, Nick, start lying. I literally thought that to myself. And I'm like, dude, I need to fucking get back tonight. All right. I'm not going to spend another night in Detroit. I don't want to spend the fucking money. And I'm like, sir, if there's anything that you can do, my girlfriend's going into labor tonight and I need to get back to Milwaukee. I swear to God. I swear to God I said it. And then he was like, okay, I'm going to see what I can do. So maybe like 30 minutes later, something opened up and I took my rental car back. He had a huge snowstorm on the way back. Okay. And I'm like, great, this is just what I needed. Me and this little Toyota Camry just cranking it through a snowstorm. I get back at 1 a.m. and I was just so exhausted.
Dude, I would have just looked up and tried to get an Uber for the 43-minute drive.
Dude, no, not a 43-minute drive. It was a 43-minute flight. Yeah.
How long was the drive? 3 hours?
6 hours.
6?
Man.
Yeah. Hell no.
So it was 6 hours because of the snowstorm. It's usually just like 5 flat.
Still, yeah, an Uber for 5 hours wouldn't have worked.
Do you guys remember?
What a weekend.
I know. Well, bro, so at Midwinter Classic at Bloomington, Mike, at your show, that's like 2 hours and 45 minutes, 3 hours from Milwaukee for me. It's just driving, roads are good, no traffic. That night I drove back and I left at 12:15. I got back to Milwaukee that night at 5:45 in the morning because of the snowstorm that I hit.
Dang.
Yeah.
Speaking of snow, bro, I live at the beach and we got 7 inches of snow yesterday.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I swear. We closed the clinic today, or so it started on Saturday. It was done yesterday, but it was still obviously the roads were bad. We don't have snow plows at the beach, but apparently they got some snow plows to come from somewhere. And they hit the roads like yesterday evening. There's still ice on the back roads and stuff, but like the main roads are good. So we closed the clinic today, and then the GM at the gym, because we're inside the gym, and the GM called and was like, "Hey, been a couple people asking if you guys are open. Not sure if you wanted to come in. This is at like 11 a.m." And I was like, "Well, we weren't planning on it, but like, is the gym packed?" And he was like, "Yeah, every other gym in Wilmington's closed, so everyone's coming here." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll be there."
Fuck
So
yeah.
4 people came in as soon as we got here.
Nice.
So
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Right in, baby.
But guess what, boys? I'm starting prep.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, not an actual prep. So there's a supplement store in Wilmington that's doing like this. They do supplement stores do those transformation challenges or whatever. And I've been getting back into it. I've been in a good routine, good rhythm, and everything. Just my diet hasn't been like super on point. Just kind of eating freely, clean. And I was like, man, I'm already doing all this stuff. I need some structure. So the prize is a $5,000 for the best transformation in 10 weeks. And I was like, well, I could use $5,000, and I'm in a very untrained, very responsive state right now because I haven't taken anything since September 2024 other than TRT when I remember. And I'm just now getting like I'm just starting to fill back out and stuff like that. So I was like, with that, and also nobody will take the drugs that I'll take for a lifestyle transformation challenge. I'm about to run this thing. So Mike Nassif's gonna coach me, and he set up my plan and everything yesterday. So I just gotta prep
That's
my
hilarious.
meals and everything.
So bring in the
Yeah.
2 grams of test, baby. Bring in that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's perfect too, because like I started a little cycle like 4 weeks ago. So it's just now starting to get into my system and everything. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm trying to win
Do you want to share what you're running or do you want to keep that?
right now, just testing EQ, so 600 megs a test, 300 EQ. I'm also trying out, obviously, because of the clinic, trying out some IGF-LR3 for the first time, taking MOTS-C. I took some Retta last week, but it just crushes me. Like 1 meg of Retta, I don't know how. I know people like bomb prepped a guy last year that, like, was taking, like, 8 milligrams a week of Retta, and, like, it wasn't affecting him, and I don't know, I just take 1 milligram and it just fucking crushes me, and I don't have a super big appetite anyways, like, unless it's for like, it's more cravings than it is appetite. So I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna leave this out because we're gonna obviously start food higher and then just work it down, let my body recomp for a couple weeks, metabolism catch up, and everything like that. So once appetite gets back in a good spot, then I'll. But not gonna add in the special sauce yet.
Nah.
So yeah, that's about it. Also, I got my blood work done. I'm gonna see if I qualify to get a prescription for some Anavar trophies.
Yeah. Yeah, you will. You'll be able to.
Those see if those work.
Yeah. I, my cycle's not far off from that. Today was my first day of starting, I preload all my syringes, but
Mhm.
like weekly, we're starting 600 test, 300 primo, and then 200 EQ.
Yeah.
Not much different at all. And then growth hormones in at 8 IUs of growth per day. I was able to source some legitimate Increlex, and
Bro, I've been looking into it a lot.
I'm gonna get I get my hands on it when I head out to Detroit. Um, and I'm really excited because I'm really excited to see how that does on my triceps. It's
Can you explain it a little bit?
so what Increlex is like with growth hormone. Growth hormone is somatropin peptide. So that goes into your body. It's like somatropin 19 for I don't know, whatever the fuck goes into your body. And then once your body, senses the signal, it's going to be like, okay, let's take estrogen and let's with the estrogen, convert growth hormone to IGF-1.
Mhm.
Okay. So it tells your body, hey, we've got all of this exogenous growth hormone coming in. We can't do anything with it unless we bond a certain amount of estrogen with the peptide to convert to IGF-1. Increlex is just straight IGF-1. So there's no bonding, there's no middleman per se going on. So you can either administer it pre-workout for the muscle group that you're training, or you can administer it post-workout. I've never had a client on it. It's extremely expensive to get.
Very expensive, yeah.
Like, for instance, I'm very grateful for what the price that I'm paying for it, which is a lot less than what I've seen it sourced at. I've seen it sourced for like $2,400 for a 40 milligram vial. Yeah. So, and that's like before I'm paying 1,800, which is just for,
Sure, but how many workouts is that going to get you?
if I use it once a week, or let's say I use it once a week on just arm days, I would start off with like 250 micrograms, injected intramuscular. Excuse me, maybe bring that up to 500 micrograms intramuscular per tricep. That would last me, 250 micrograms is a quarter milligram. Shit, that'll last me like 100.
160 weeks.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. But then you can bring it in post workout as well, and you can also use it in other muscle groups. For me, I'm just going to use it in where I need it the most. Which would be triceps, and which would be maybe my upper chest. I would be a little bit more inclined to try upper chest. From what I've heard, it's extremely helpful. People absolutely love it. It is, it's much.
Localized growth, right?
Yes, for localized growth. I've even done a lot of research on it and how, like, if it would grow waistline or organs, and there's no research on it in growing organs and organ imaging coming back with negative trends with because it's prescribed very commonly with children that have growth, like mineral growth, bone growth deficiency,
Deficiencies, yeah.
or
Yeah.
with extreme like muscle loss conditions. You know what I'm saying? So
Wait,
there's
How would
no.
it stay inside the muscle though? Since it's just like going right into the bloodstream, which then carries to the rest of the body.
Because I think it has to deal with where's our body once we're breaking something down. Okay, your body's gonna be like, okay, yo, this area needs recovery. All right. So with the aid of diet and rest, recovery analog, etc., your body's gonna be like, okay, Nick trained the fuck out of his triceps today. We have all these recovery modalities coming to his triceps, the food, we're gonna refill glycogen, etc. Also, like, no, I'm not saying Increlex is brought in yet. Okay, when Nick goes to sleep, what areas need recovery. So like, let's start to increase the IGF-1 production while Nick sleeps. Nick's legs are still pretty fucking beat up from 2 days ago. His triceps are beat up, etc. So when you bring in Increlex, it's increasing the IGF-1 activity to that area. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, if we bring it in pre-workout, increased IGF-1 activity or theoretically is going to pull more blood flow. It's going to pull more water, more nutrients, etc., so that your body can take all those things coming to that area, recover it even after it's done getting trained.
So really, it
Do you
has the
think,
same. Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, do you think going along the same theory from a HIIT cardio perspective, would it then potentially affect the heart, being that it's being worked a lot? I know there's not a lot of
Interesting.
breakdown, right? But I'm just obviously just like
Do you want to know
shooting it out here, right?
what may be interesting? I don't know. I think the type of exercise that it's doing, it's probably dependent on the type of exercise, aerobic versus anaerobic. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really sure how it would affect aerobic exercise, but
Yeah,
also
because it's not really tearing down the tissue, right? So
right. Exactly. So it's like, but also I know from just like the research that's been done from my understanding on how it's used in the medical world. Now, obviously, like people listening and for YouTube listening, that is not medical advice, is literally just fucking research purposes and me talking about from a educational standpoint per se, entertainment standpoint. The research it's very promising, showing that there's not any organ growth even for people that are untrained individuals. So it's like, I think if there's children that would be at a higher risk of other issues happening medically, they bring in Increlex, and it would increase like organ size that could potentially make, downstream of other worse symptoms. How I think of it logically, they wouldn't even bring Increlex in if it's going to inherently increase the risk.
yeah, yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
totally.
So it really has the same kind of thought. Like it's the same thought process. It goes through the same systems and processes as IGF,
Yes.
LR3, or IGF Des does, but just straight to the source rather than, or like, I'm just trying to picture this in my, I'm a very visual person. So I'm like trying to picture it working in the body, in my head, and the processes that it's going through. So it'd be the same processes, right?
Right. So it's literally just going to acting directly at the IGF-1 receptor it's instead of acting upon a system, if you know what I mean. So it's like,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
it's like one thing too that's really cool about it is it doesn't increase like central nervous system drive. Like it's not going to increase central nervous system like fatigue per se. So it's not going to be something where it's going to take your central nervous system, just ramp it through the roof, and it's going to increase maybe, when central nervous system is extremely stressed out for longer periods of time. I mean, we could worry about something like rhabdo going on. So from my understanding, it doesn't have anything to do with a crazy amount of central nervous system output. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is something that I learned this past week, is from a medical perspective, like our medical director prescribes IGF LR3 sub Q at night. So like the same way you would do just regular growth hormone. And the reason for that is it technically is made to, none of these drugs, and I'm saying this because Increlex would kind of be included. We're talking about localized growth with it. I would assume that the actual medical administration of it is most likely systemic rather than localized, and the same with IGF-LR3. But like you said, if you're injecting it straight into a muscle, it's causing more localized growth because it's saying, hey, blood flow, repair, more of this, more of this, more of this in that spot. And then your body's breaking, while you're training, you're breaking down those muscles, and it's going. Just a fun fact, because I just learned this week after talking to our medical director, because I got my prescription for it, and it says inject sub Q prior to bed. And I was like, that's not how I've been taught. And so
Yeah.
the localized growth comes from what you were saying that the Increlex does. So technically it's basically the same thing as the IGFR.
Yeah. Because it's like, when it comes to Increlex, it's going to drive the signaling, the muscle cell signaling to satellite cell activation, nutrient uptake, and tissue remodeling, like directly where it's accumulating per se. You know what I'm saying? Instead of everywhere. So like that's the evidence behind it, instead of something that would be systemic.
Yes.
So like it's going to work
Ex-
more at that localized muscular level than a systemic performance level for Increlex. But it's really interesting about taking IGFLR3 before bed. I've never heard of that.
Yep.
That is so cool.
I
I
actually have
think
a
it's
question. Go back to the growth estrogen bonding. So higher estrogen, assuming that means now we have plenty of receptors to bond with, right? As you kind of put it. I'm going to butcher all this language, but
Mhm.
so if you're taking antis and you're pulling estrogen down, would that mean that your growth is less effective?
Good question. So when it comes to like your body utilizing growth hormone or utilizing estrogen to convert growth hormone to IGF-1, your body needs a lot less than you may think. So it's like, let's say somebody's estrogen is at like super high. Let's say it's at like 100. Okay. Your body's not going to have a better time converting growth hormone to IGF-1 just because your estrogen's higher. You know what I'm saying? Your estrogen could very well be low and still your body's using it for conversion. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't need a whole lot of it to do it. But if you're constantly operating with just bottomed out estrogen in like single digits, then that's when you're going to start to probably be like, okay, with all these AIs, maybe my EQ is high, or just like with AIs for a long period of time, you're definitely going to start to notice like, okay, my growth hormone is definitely not doing what it should be doing because there needs to be some signaling of estrogen going on in your body. Your estrogen can still be low, but once it's probably low enough theoretically at a point where it's like your body, other systems are starting to get affected, like your reproductive system, your brain is starting to get affected because of low estrogen, etc., then the growth hormone's also going to take a hit, if that makes sense. The growth hormone conversion, sorry. Does that make sense?
So yeah, so obviously coming down into like your lower your lower days are getting closer to your show, things like that, right? Cool.
Yeah, and like, dude, to be completely honest, I've had people where they've told me they're like, "Yo, Nick, I don't think my growth hormone's real." Okay, and then I'm like, "Dude, it's fucking real. I'm taking the same stuff." All right, and they're like, "Well, dude, I'm not feeling it," and I'm like, "Bro, I know. Okay, let's just get some labs pulled." All right, we get some labs pulled, and their estrogen is at like 2. You know, because they may not be on any AIs, and maybe let's just like EQ really affects their estrogen like pretty crazy, and that just really blocks a lot of the aromatase enzyme. Then once that estrogen, we retest it, 4, 6 weeks later, et cetera, because we manipulated the cycle and the doses. Once that estrogen starts to come up, 100% of the time they're like, "Yo, I can feel the growth hormone." You know what I'm saying? It's pretty crazy. So it's like if you bottom your estrogen out, it's gonna be you're probably it's gonna be pretty hard to feel what's going on with higher doses of growth hormone.
Is that why a lot of women usually see a lot of effects leading up to
yes.
shows?
Makes sense. Yeah.
It's also why people well, there's a lot of reasons why, obviously, looking from a generic versus farm grade, what you're using, but water retention from GH, assuming estrogen is a little bit higher. Obviously, at the end of a prep, that's why we bring estrogen down, and so you're dry, but, like, it probably has a little bit of an effect on why GH causes water retention at the end of prep too, because it's attaching to that estrogen.
Exactly. 100%. And there's times, dude, where it's like it's so crazy because none of this shit can be medically explained. Okay. There's no studies going on with bodybuilders and what's better if we keep their growth hormone in through peak week as we crash estrogen, or do we pull growth hormone out as well? It's so bio individual where I've had people where I keep running them at 10 IUs of growth throughout peak week, and I'm having them on a milligram of 8x per day, getting drier. But I know that if I pull their fucking growth hormone, they're just gonna lose a pop. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, but then there's other people where I pull that growth hormone out as I'm starting to bring their estrogen down, and their body just like sheds a bunch of water, but they stay around. It's just so bio individual, which is why it's so important to like figure out the trends of somebody's body. Okay, that worked. This didn't. This is what I want to try to replicate. And that's what people sometimes misinterpret is, okay, I need to try to, they misinterpret what it means to replicate a look. And that starts from knowing how to collect data.
I also think if you're too fat in the off season, you can't test and figure out anything also.
Exactly. Bro, like it's just if you're fatter, you're gonna have more aromatization going on in your body. You know what I'm saying? It's just like if you're fatter and you have more aromatization going on, your aromatase enzyme is higher, your nutrient partitioning is lower, you're in a more of an environment that's going to be favoring insulin resistance. Like, are you really growing in the gym, or are you just moving weight because your joints have a bunch of synovial fluid and water around them?
Let's also use this as a lesson for any competitors or prep coaches that are watching, as far as like, uh I mean, it's happened to me, or with my clients. We're going back to the GH and estrogen thing. It's like post show, you don't want to just remove Arimidex or remove any AIs you're using and then just throw in GH. Or if you have done that before and you notice, oh, my client's ankles or my ankles are swollen, everything else, it's like, yeah, because the estrogen shooting up from being in the tanks, you're bringing in GH, which is binding to the estrogen, it's doing all of that at once. Your body's in shock. Blood pressure's going up from the GH, all of that type of stuff. So it's like you need to strategically, like,
Reverse it.
I personally like tapering people off of, like, if someone's taking zero 0.5 Arimidex every day during peak week, then I'm gonna say, okay, let's do every other day coming out of peak week. Let's probably hold there for a week or two, and then we can go 3 times a week, and then we can go 2 times a week. Like, you shouldn't just pull stuff out and push stuff in coming out of a show like that too, or
Yes.
you can expect for swollen ankles, high blood pressure, all of that type of stuff.
People really overlook that because they think all of
Yes.
their water retention and their edema is going to come from binge eating after a
So
show. That shit happens because you either add things or take things away that your body has been used to operating with, and then your blood pressure's through the fucking roof or whatever is going on. Like, I've had people where they don't binge for, they have their post-show meals the next day, whatever, and they don't binge for an entire week, but they add 15 pounds of water. And they're like, I'm like, dude, why is this happening? They're like, oh shit, sorry, man. I totally forgot that I wasn't taking this, and that. I'm like, bro, this is why we taper off some of these things.
mhm,
Like, goodness sake.
100%.
Like, man, dude, oh my God, the amount of times I'll get somebody's blood work back after contest prep, like 6 weeks post show, and their thyroid is just trashed. And I'm like, you didn't follow your fucking thyroid taper at all, did
Yep.
you? And they're like, I didn't think so. I felt fine. I'm like, dude, it's not about feeling fine. It's about figuring out how much we need to
Uh,
start your fucking thyroid production by itself. Blood work's going to tell 95% about what's going on.
Yes.
Yeah, or like I would say most of the basic panels. Sometimes you're gonna need a lot more. Like a lot of times you're gonna need like a TSI for a thyroid, like thyroid stimulating immunoglobulin to see, another step further down the line what's going on. But yeah. Anyway, there was our 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 coaching drug talk for the day. Mike, what's going on with you, man? How are you? How have you been?
Dude, training's been good. I kind of backed off a little bit from some of the intensity, or just like thin the weight, if you would. Doing back, legs, chest, and arms twice a week, starting to get to my elbows pretty bad.
Yeah.
So trying to like take those in consideration a little bit. But overall, training's going good. Not missing a meal, that's for sure. Keep sending pictures, the videos to Taylor, and I'm like, I don't know, Taylor. What percentage of body fat you think I am right now?
10
25.
max.
I
Dude,
would say
he's
10 is
so
high
lean.
personally,
Yeah, yeah, 8, it
but I'm
depends,
like,
like, doing an in-body, then around 10. If we're doing an actual DEXA, probably
yeah. Um,
8, 9.
what I'd probably say we're like, we're 6 weeks post show, and I would probably say that we look like 6 weeks out if I just dropped water.
4. I'd say
4
4.
weeks out. So,
I
but
told
I'm
him
also like consuming a lot of food, like way more food than I've consumed in a very, very long time. Calories right now around 4,000 on a low day. Protein's around 318, give or take. So basically 5 ounces 5 times a day, plus eggs in the morning. Or excuse me, 6 ounces 5 times a day. And then I'm doing carbs wise. Now we added in more carbs, intra workout and whatnot. I think I'm around 550 to 600 depending.
Nice.
Fats are between 75 to 100.
Solid.
I find that fats for me make me fat funny enough. We kind of find this out during prep. I just hold so much fluid so fast from like an extra 20 grams of fat. And it's like you can see it when I had that meal. And so this
And
allows me to actually eat more calories
a lot
without
of the
having
fats
to.
you're eating too are like trace fats too. They're not direct fat. So, from
Yeah.
beef and stuff like that. So like the 75 to 100 grams is just coming from the, the red meats and the
Yeah, yeah. So
stuff like
actually
that.
the only added fats that I added fats would be like 2 yolks and then, like a Kerrygold butter or maybe almond butter if I'm feeling frisky at night and it's less
Yeah.
than a serving.
Mhm.
So it's like, it's not much.
Yeah.
Unless I go have a meal like on a Friday or Saturday night, or I'll go have sushi or something where else, but
I've noticed with people, there's some people where if I give them in a meal, proteins, carbs, and fats, and they're doing that for 3, 4, 5 meals throughout the day, they're going to get so much fatter quicker as opposed to if I just did protein and carbohydrates. Like, dude,
Dude,
we're on steroids, bro. We don't need fucking fats to make cholesterol to convert to, to hormones.
I have really changed my ways with that in like the past year because or really like the past 8 months. Because I've noticed that when I
What's
keep
going on?
fats low and just drop carbs up,
Trying to
people's
reconnect.
appetite stays in a great spot and they just stay lean. Like they're just like, and let's be honest, who the fuck wants to eat a bunch of extra added
Fuck.
fats? I would much rather have extra carbs than I would fats. Like you're gonna ask me, do I want fucking a bagel
Hold on,
or
boys.
15 grams of olive oil throughout the day? Like that's a no brainer.
yeah, it's
Like
kinda where I'm at, and so I've enjoyed the process there. My weight this morning was 331.
Just got you back. Holy fuck. My thing froze for like 35 seconds.
You're
I
good.
noticed she glitched.
That was so weird.
But enjoying the process. Weight this morning was 331,
231.
Shit.
which is heavy. Excuse me,
Three
yes,
thirty,
231.
231. Holy hell, dude.
Not quite 3.
Again.
Yeah, I hope never.
What the fuck?
But yeah, so I'm actually like finally starting to not feel blocky or heavy. So I'm kind of like just starting to own the weight, And as Taylor, as you put it, like I can't add really more food.
Yeah.
Just got to make it. It's got to not that we can't add it, is that we can't continue to pack on tissue that's not either like it's got to be muscle. If it's not muscle, we can't have it. I think simply just because we got to make the weight.
Well, and like I think a lot of people mess this up is like weight's not moving. I need more food or whatever. And it's like, no, if you are obviously look is everything, at least in my opinion. When a coach is experienced enough to just like say, okay, I can look at this picture and I can look at this picture and tell that the look is obviously better. Being able to like the visuals are the best feedback in my opinion once you have that experience to do so. But like also just because the weight isn't going up doesn't mean that we're not like if you're progressing in the gym and your weight's going up and you're visually getting better, you quite literally like it's impossible to not be putting on muscle. So I think people just like chase the scale weight, like, oh, I need to add food, I need to add food. Like, no, is if training is good and you feel good and obviously we're trending in the right direction, there's no point just to continue to add food for no reason. Especially for someone like you who is like, we got to get the weight back off.
Yeah,
I know.
especially too when people get fixated on I need more food, I need more food, I need more food. People start to forget that the more food we add doesn't mean that we're creating an even better environment for hypertrophy. So it's like
Yes.
most of the time, the more food we add creates an environment where we're looking for it's going to get increase insulin resistance, more fat accumulation, more food is going to be stored as adipose tissue instead of glycogen or
Yeah.
liver glycogen.
And then
A lot of
the
people just want
fullness, blood
yeah,
pressure, like all the things. Because obviously, like just because carrying the weight alone, I mean, notice is like blood pressure increase from eating a lot of good foods because I shoved them in. And it's like blood pressure's increased because your body's trying to process that.
Mhm.
I'm a really big believer. I think this last prep really kind of opened my eyes in a real big way. And I just obviously like, the last 15 years of just like being on it. I wouldn't say I've ever had like, I just didn't care season. But for me, where I'm at mentally changes everything. Like we didn't do a single blade of cardio for this cut for the last show, like just steps on the Stairmaster. But then I would go do jujitsu 5 years ago still eating the same, burning way more calories, high intensity, high stress environment in that jujitsu type hit cardio and look like garbage
Yeah.
because of that higher stress level. So for me, I find that for me to grow or to lose, I've got to be in a very calm, collected, good, stress free environment
Dude.
from like an intensity level on the cardio side for me. I think it's just everything for me personally.
Mm,
Cause like going to burn more fat, working harder, it's like, but visually I look terrible.
yeah.
Mhm.
People, I think something, if somebody was to ask me, like, Nick, what's something, one piece of advice or something that you've had to learn that you'd tell somebody just getting into competing or just getting into coaching, whatever it may be, is like actually understanding how your environment affects the other processes of your body. And if you can understand that, then a lot of things are going to make sense. A lot of things are going to be easier, even though we're not trying to find an easier route. But if you can really control your environment at home, you can control your internal environment in terms of, mental health, behaviors, stress, cortisol, blood work. Man, it really makes bodybuilding enjoyable, bro.
Mhm.
'Cause, like, dude, nobody
Us
wants to be eating 1,500 calories at 8 weeks out. But guess what? Sometimes people are so stressed, their cortisol's so high, they're dealing with a lot of work stuff, food is super low, cardio output is high, that their body really doesn't wanna work.
I think that's why Mike responds so well, just for those out there that like or like, "How the fuck did you do cardio and or not do cardio and get that lean?" It's like, Mike's, he says this all the time. He's not a bodybuilder trying to grow a
Yeah.
business. He's a businessman who likes to do bodybuilding. Like, if you just let that be, honestly, the people who make the best progress are the ones who just don't miss because it's a part of their everyday life that it's just, but it's like an afterthought
It's a
almost.
part
Like,
of my life. It is not my life.
yeah.
100%.
And it's
Right.
like,
I stress on other things besides like, because if you're looking at your body and focus on your body, you're internalizing that becomes the issue. If I
mhm.
focus on my energy on the business and then I just do this on the side to de-stress or get away from the business, then it's now stays in that fun environment. And I think whenever
That's
you
what
make the transition of going, this is everything and this is how I'm going to do it, and it's like everything that fuels you, I think that's when you start to age really fast from it. I think that's when your body starts to hurt more. I think that you start to not have good digestion because it's like every single thing is a stressor because I could be like, oh, I've been on my feet too long. Like, that's not good for my legs. Let me sit down. It's just like you overthink everything versus just if you'll just live and lift and track your food, like you can compete quite easily in my
yeah.
mind.
I
Mike, would
think
you
that
say that there's, or go ahead, Nick.
I was just gonna say, building off of that, 'cause what you said, Mike, it reminded me how you're a businessman that loves to bodybuild, okay? You're not a bodybuilder that's trying to build a business. I kinda relate it the same way to me. Like, I'm a coach that loves to bodybuild. Like, I don't coach to fuel my bodybuilding. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't coach to take all that money and just so I could pay for my preps. It's like the reason I'm so good in the not so good in terms of the stage yet, but like the reason I'm so good with the bodybuilding lifestyle is because when I'm coaching, bro, like I live through my athletes, but also I bodybuilding is the easiest way for me to live by example so they can see how to do it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what makes it so easy for me is like not missing, traveling with all my meals, saying that I want it is so easy for me because I don't have to just say I want it and then not take the actions to do it. I say I want it and the actions just automatically back it up.
I think
Mike,
the other thing.
would you say that?
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was
Ask your
gonna say,
question.
would you say that getting back into like full force bodybuilding, like you have been for the last 6, 8 months or whatever, has helped you or helped you like business wise with the structure that comes with it? Like, would you say it's harder to be not like what is it harder to be more aligned and more focused on your business when you don't have that structure or when you do have that structure?
It's a great question. Um, I'm gonna say a little both, and I'll explain. So Obviously, staying on structure. I had structure prior doing this. I would just go to the gym. I just didn't take it as, let's say, as serious. Or I would eat the food. I just wouldn't track it. I definitely wasn't doing any steps. Like that's a given. I'd get 2,500 at max a day. Now I'm like, I do that. Plus, I'm 4 miles on this walking pad every day. The weekend actually is like my detriment because I don't get the steps in comparison to what I do like right here at my desk. From a structure standpoint, yes. The only other thing would be like some days I would go, hey, I'm just gonna go straight to the office to get some stuff done today. And now I go, no, I won't do that because then I don't work out.
Mm,
And the bodybuilder says, don't do that.
Mhm.
The CEO goes, it's not that big a deal. You could take the day,
mm.
which is true.
So mentally, when you get to the office, though, after training versus just going straight there, do you feel a difference throughout the day when you have gotten that workout in and it's out of the way and it's
Well,
not
I
at the top of
always
your
trained in the morning prior. So like
Yeah.
that isn't really a differentiator for me. I would say
Mhm.
that the like forcing myself to get the steps in, I wouldn't even say that's bodybuilding related, but just being more physically active and holding myself to a standard, which I'm just doing that for bodybuilding. And it's really just having a goal. I don't care if it's like if your goal is to go hiking every single month, you got to stay prepped for it or whatever it may be. Like you got to body in motion. So that's just one thing that's hard to answer to your question is because I don't have an on and off switch.
Mhm.
I'm just tracking my food and eating more and working out harder. I'm not couch now working out.
Mhm.
So I think that's just a slight difference.
I have a
Is that I
question.
don't have an on and off season per se. It's just intensity differences.
I have a question about that. Do you think that the reason that you don't have an on and off switch is because you've been very good at, or not very good at, you've made it a habit to operate based upon logic instead of emotion?
I tend to definitely go logic over emotion.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is just consistency of a routine.
Yeah.
So
Which is
I've had an
logical.
office for the last 8 years and of some degree, right? There was a warehouse for the previous companies or here they are. So structured routine.
Mhm.
I will say that the bodybuilding has taken more of a time crunch into my personal life, right? Because now like I get home and it's like, okay, I got to make sure I have all my food ready for tomorrow and this, that, whatever. And it's like I spend a long day at the office. And so it's like I'm in the kitchen making sure things are ready. If I don't have it here at the office, that takes away from my wife. So like there are things that are still come back to bodybuilding being selfish of like, hey, you could just do this instead. The bodybuilder says, no, you can't. Husband says, yes, you can. Right. I think the problem is too many people go, yes, you can on this side and not enough self-discipline.
Mhm.
So they just give themselves and everybody gets a yes, like moms. Everybody gets a yes, but you never get a say in your own yes.
Mhm.
And that's
Mhm.
the problem. Is because you can't say yes for yourself and you give it to everybody else and you're left with nothing. And it's like it's really great to give, but at some point you give from an empty cup. And that empty
Mhm.
cup is
Mhm.
coming from like emotionally, like, do you love yourself?
Mhm.
And then it becomes where it's just giant, like too big of a boulder to start turning, so you just give up.
Yeah, that
So
makes sense.
for me, I think there's like certain standards that we should hit. And the biggest one of all that is that we no longer wear clothes anymore that require buttons or belt loops. And so there's never a gauge on am I gaining weight?
Hmm, interesting.
Think about it. In the fees, it was 3-piece suit everywhere you went.
Yeah.
You know when that vest gets tight.
Mhm.
You know when your pants get too tight. They're fitted. And now everything is athletic shorts and Lululemon and sports bras. You don't
Because you can
know if you
always just size
fluctuated
up.
7, 10 pounds.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, it's like, I don't like that brand no more. Then you go switch brands and they go, the brands are changing their sizes, which they have. Now a large is now like what used to be an extra large. And so you're just now like, well, I'm still a large. And it's like, yes, you are.
Very, very large.
Right. And so it's like
Too large.
everything just becomes where it's now too comfortable. And so it's all of a sudden, I was too late before we notice that we're gaining the weight and the routine is too far off. So I like to keep like checks and balances. towards like I look in the mirror and I go, hey, you're starting to get a tad fluffy.
Mhm.
Let's make that change. Versus it's like some people's like, wait for my abs to disappear. And I'm like, never would I ever let it go to that level.
The
Some
thing
people
is,
think it
bro,
might be an extreme, but it's like there's also a point where it's like, how low do you let your bank account go? Like there should be a level,
yeah.
right? Zero
The
is
thing is,
not zero.
but
Zero
the
is like
thing is,
we have dire problems,
bro,
Mhm.
right? There
we
should
live
be
in
a ceiling or like a basement in your physique and your exercise. Like there should be standards in place.
but
At
Mike,
that's how I live my life.
but we live in such a cush society that it's automatically been perpetrated over generations to not know how to give yourself checks and balances. You know what I'm saying? Because knowing how to check and balance yourself is a learned skill, just like how discipline is a learned skill. How you gain those things is by doing more things that require them. Okay.
Mhm.
That's how you get more disciplined, is doing more things that are going to require a discipline. By getting better at checks and balances, it's going to require you to do things that are going to require you to eventually check and balance yourself. But if we live in a society where everything's all cush and it's okay and it's acceptable, nobody's going to know how to check themselves, dude. And which literally, and I'm going to sound very like egocentric here, but it literally shows you how much of a better like operating person we can be when we can control those things. You know what I'm saying? Because I would argue that the average American, or the average person, not even just the average American, the average person, well, maybe the average American actually, doesn't know how to be disciplined with all their stuff. Doesn't know how to check and balance themselves on their relationship level, on their faith level, on their, work level, friendship level, all those certain things, man. But it's like if we just bro, if you could take some of the best characteristics from bodybuilding and just like drop them into the brains of
Yeah.
evolution, our
Yep.
world would be a crazy different place. And I'm not talking about dropping the muscles of bodybuilders into the brains of evolution, but like if you could just take the characteristics that you really gain from a contest prep and bodybuilding the off season and training the off season like a contest prep, and you just drizzled that into the DNA sequence of evolution, the human experience would be much different.
I've said that since the first show that I did, is if I knew what I know about how much it takes mentally, physically, work ethic wise, everything to bodybuild, and if I could take those same traits and put them into myself my 8th grade year of middle school, going into high school sports, I would have went in Division 1. I would have went Division 1 in any sport that I wanted to, because like you actually understand what it takes to achieve something, because bodybuilding isn't an on and off switch. It is a lifestyle that you have to do year round or you will lose it. If you take that and you apply that to anything else that you do in life that you want to be good at, I've always said the best benefits that come from being a bodybuilder are not the muscles or the way you look. It is the mindset and discipline that goes with it that you can apply to everything else in your life.
Do you think bodybuilding is the most extreme sport in the world?
Yes.
Like,
No.
I mean, no, it depends. It depends. I
okay.
think bodybuilding is the most.
No, that shit's
I
easy.
mean, yes, but like also I think bodybuilding requires the most out of you than any other sport in the world.
Ooh, that's a
I
good
also
one.
disagree.
Really?
I
Wow. But
disagree.
why do you disagree?
Here's why. It takes 1 hour a day to show up to the gym, put in some energy and effort, and then you go home and then you just weigh your food and eat it. You have one hard hour of the day. Not putting something in your mouth isn't hard,
I love
right?
where this is going.
Do a triathlon, an Ironman, where you train for 6 hours a day,
Yeah. I agree with that.
day after day after day, where it's actually physically hard.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And then like, yeah, you get to eat whatever, but it's like, but again, like what's actually difficult is expending the energy,
Mhm.
not eating energy.
Let me play devil's advocate.
Yeah, there we go.
I know bodybuilders who have quit bodybuilding and went to endurance sports because they get to eat whatever they want.
That's true.
So what you're basically telling me is that they're just mentally weak.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm speaking
But that's not
obviously,
hard. That's
we
an
know different.
emotion.
To the average person, though, mentally hard is much harder than physically hard
Yeah.
because of the way the society we live in. Everything's easy, bro. I was just sitting on this. I wanted an energy drink as we're sitting in here talking on this podcast, and I just door dashed an energy drink, and it was here within 6 minutes. Like everything in the world is easy. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah, no, I know it's
you know,
easy.
I think okay,
so that's how people's brains are wired.
I like where this is going. I think, man, Mike, you brought up a very good argument. And it's like it's kind of fucking with my head. When I asked if bodybuilding is the most extreme sport in the world, I asked not in a sense of the decision making, but I asked more so in the sense of like bodybuilding is the one sport that if you want to be the pinnacle of it, and if you want to do so damn good, there is never an on and off switch, and there is you're constantly fighting your biology of your body. You're constantly fighting. Your brain's going to tell you, no, eat that piece of cake. You're going to be like, no, I fucking can't. Because you've built all these systems in your body and in your brain, these characteristics where it's like, if you can control those, then it becomes easier. But if you can do that year after year after year, like literally going against what your body is telling you, putting mass amounts of fucking steroids into your body, all these things, putting gear in your body is not hard. Anybody can do that. But if you can do that and remain somewhat in some confine of health and compete at the highest of level, I think that's a crazy extreme.
It is extreme. Here's my one piece of it is like, go back to the cake, for example.
Mhm.
It's like, you're like, eat this piece of cake. And you're like, no, I can't. What do you think is harder? Saying no to a piece of cake? Or is it when your body's telling you to stop running on mile 22 and you're like, no, keep going?
And
I
you
would
still have
much rather say no to the idea
78
of
left.
eating cake than to keep pounding my shins that are about to explode. And
Mhm.
it's a Tuesday because I'm training for something.
But what's more extreme? Is it more extreme to go against the biology of your body for years on end? Or is it more extreme to just push yourself one more mile, one more mile, one more mile? Because we're having two extremes here, and you're making a damn good argument. And I think this is really, really interesting. Because I think, bro, let's just talk because we're talking about endurance running or endurance sports. Endurance sports are extremely hard and they're very extreme. But it's really hard because we haven't yet defined what extreme is.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm
Cause
saying?
I can just pull up like James Lawrence. It's a buddy of mine. He's the guy that did the 50 Ironmans in 50 days in 50
That's
states.
him?
Yeah.
Holy
He did
shit.
Yeah, that's insane.
100 Ironmans around his house in 100 consecutive days. Bro, eating chicken and rice in comparison? What are we
Yeah,
talking about?
yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Like this guy sleeps while getting a massage and getting needles jammed in his foot to release blisters, like running with a broke back and broke foot. And it's just like, bro, I work out and it's like it hurts for a minute and then you get the rest.
Yeah.
Like I understand like it's intensity, but I think duration is what actually is hard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's a good point.
And like, I mean, honestly, with hunger now in bodybuilding, like you can eliminate that now.
Yeah,
Bro, isn't that crazy? What the fuck?
Take some Retta, and all of a sudden it's like bodybuilding's the easiest thing in the world.
I
that is
hate
very, very true.
I hate it, bro. Like, oh my God, dude. I was talking about this with Fuad the other day. And I'm like, I told Fuad, I'm like, Fuad, sometimes I really wish I was bodybuilding in your era, like your
Era.
generation. And he's like, why? And I'm like, bro, because my generation seems to be the
Soft.
people that are trying to get to yes, they're soft. They're the ones that trying to make everything easier. And I'm like, I've succumbed to that as well. You know what I'm saying? I've tried to have shortcuts. I've tried retatrutide in the off season to, stay insulin sensitive. But guess what, Nick? If you just train fucking harder, you'll stay insulin sensitive. You know what I'm
I
saying?
I I think I've done it too. We're in a time where like there's no absolutely zero fucking reason you should be unhealthy.
I know. What the fuck?
Zero.
What kind of world we live
Zero.
in?
But it's never been easier.
Exactly.
It's never been easier to be either.
Yeah, that is very true.
Well, dude, let's carry over to the business side of things.
I was literally about to say that.
It's never been easier to make money now.
And I am a fucking dude. This has hit me so hard over the last month because obviously opening the clinic, like, is a different animal, bro. Like, this is a real. I don't want to say online businesses aren't real businesses. This is the brick and mortar side is just so. Now, I mean, like obviously they're real businesses. I'm saying like it's just different than like online money is so easy. Like, let's be honest. I did a fucking webinar that I prepped for a couple weeks. Now, the personal branding and stuff, the credibility that went into that, I prepped for a couple of weeks and made $42,000 in one fucking hour.
Yeah.
It'll take me 2-3 months at least to make that in this business that has 20 times the overhead. Like, I feel like when people start in the brick and mortar side or just like hands-on type of business side and then go into the online, it's like it's different. But like when you go from online where everything like money is easy to make online if you have any type of work ethic and any type of discipline to fucking get your name out there, and then go into this, it's like, bro, I'm getting my fucking socks raw.
Yeah, bro. Here's a few different things about it. Is one, you can't just make a post.
Mhm.
Two, you have to be on at all times.
Yeah,
You
talk to
can't
people.
like take a break. It's like you just have to show up. Obviously, this past few months, we've been having a lot more in persons, and which we love. But like, bro, it's a lot more energy. Like, it's a lot more energy out of us because it's not just an hour long Zoom call, get a break, go to the bathroom, come back. It's like, no, like you're on the whole time for 6 hours straight. Basically, somebody is like in with this person, and so just imagine. Obviously you're getting it 10 hours a day. What people walks in the door, you got to make it the best day ever.
Yep, and you gotta shut down everything you're doing in that time. Like, if I'm sitting here, and that's my problem is like I'm sitting here doing whatever I'm doing in deep. There's no deep focus while I'm here because it's like the minute that it starts, it could end, and then it takes me 30-45 minutes to get back into it.
Yeah. And it's like too, like what you said earlier, people go from online to brick and mortar and they really experience like, holy cow, this is a different animal. I think the same thing is true when it comes to when people are introduced to a new standard with like training per se. They follow their training plan that their coach writes out for them, but then the way they execute that is up to par to an extent. But when you really train with, let's say your coach like actually trains and is about it, you train with your coach, you're like, holy fuck, this is how you want me to train. It's the same concept. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Speaking of new businesses, I want to run an idea by you guys. See what you think.
Well, yeah.
Baker had this great idea for his office behind him. He's like, I'm gonna get a bunch of different types of coach hats. I'm gonna make me like a coach hat wall. I was like, dope. So then he orders a bunch, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty sick. So we're thinking about potentially starting to sell the coach hats
Ooh.
like publicly. And so we've got like
That's
baby
sick, bro.
blue with the white, and then we had like black on black on the beige. But this one, Nick, I thought this would be right up your alley.
Fuck yeah, dude.
That's so sick.
Bro, send me one of them.
This is like one of two right here.
That is sick.
But dude, why is it that camo is like such a thing right now?
I don't know.
Like
I don't
young
get it.
Because it
LA
goes
and
with the young.
everybody's
It
just
goes
been
with
dropping camo, and I'm like, well, business guy, I'm gonna jump on trend. I mean, I'm thinking about like doing this because it's like we get asked all the time, like where I can get one of those hats, and I'm like, you can't, because we only
You
give
know,
them right now to clients.
yeah. Are
And
you?
so
You're not gonna have the branding on the side, are you? Or will you?
it'll just be right here. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So it's just on the side.
Okay. I didn't know if I saw it or not. Got it. I like
Yeah.
that.
So it's just like low key. But obviously, like, I mean, I think they would do well. And also, if you buy this, you're a lead,
That's
hands
sick.
down. And so part of me is like, man, would these do well on TikTok Shop?
Yeah, they would. Totally would.
Absolutely. Well, think about how many different coaches in all aspects. Dude, there's business coaches, there's fitness coaches,
High
there's
school
sports
coaches, you name it,
coaches.
bro. There's all coaches. So anyway, think about potentially doing that. And then I think about, oh, who's going to ship those? Oh, I got to
See,
get back into e-com.
yeah, I was gonna say, see, all right, that leads me to a question I was gonna ask you, Mike. Obviously, you went from like, and I said online businesses aren't real
Yeah.
business. Like, that's not what I meant. But
I
you
went
went
from a
from like,
physical good business. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like,
Consumable.
what's your thought of like easy in today's world of going from doing everything that you've done to
Yeah.
an online
I
business
think
and like
I
other
think there's
people?
3 types of businesses. You have your retail, which is what you're doing. You have your physical product, which would be like selling hats or supplements. And you have your service-based business, which is going to be consulting or digital good or some degree. The easiest business to get into is definitely going to be the service or the digital good, right? Courses, consulting, things like that. The second easiest, retail.
Hmm.
Because when you get in the e-com, you still have to have a warehouse, which is still the same type of overhead as retail.
Hmm.
The difference is that you don't get to shake hands and kiss babies and have
Yeah.
conversations and sell yourself. You have to sell it through video and copy and email.
And
And
influence.
so it's a very, very, very low conversion rate. Like if I sold these and I sold the website at like 3% conversion rate, 3 out of 100 coaches see it and purchase, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had 100 people walk in your clinic and 3 purchase, you might as well shut down the doors, right? Same thing with coaching. It's just like you're going to have a much higher conversion rate because we get to conversate and I get to solve problems versus a consumable doesn't actually solve a problem. It's a want, not necessarily a need.
Mm.
There are a few things that are needs, but it's just so much more difficult to sell e-com.
Yeah.
It's hard, very hard. Go through ebbs and flows. Things are trends. You know, you can use Facebook ads, things like that. But if like your average cart value is not $150, it's really hard to become profitable and scalable in ads.
Well, another thing with e-commerce is you got to be ahead of the trends too, don't you?
You do, or your product and manufacturing has to be quick. So, for example, if we wanted to come out with a new coffee, it would take 3 weeks. Now, the bag, if I wanted to create a custom bag for it, though, 8 months. So, like, I couldn't be like, oh, let's create a coffee bag and print tomorrow. I'd have to do a generic bag with the camo sticker, right? This lowers quality of product. So, it's just like, how fast can you go from ideation to implementation? I've been preaching that all week with our in-persons is that I have all these ideas. I'm like, yeah, that's great. When are you going to implement them? Otherwise, they're just dreams. The how fast we go from the inception of an idea to the implementation of it is where small businesses thrive and big businesses die. And so how fast can you go from like, I got an idea on a hat, can I get it created? Is it a 6-week process? That's not bad. Is it a 6-month process? That's pretty hard.
So how do you manage that, like from a perspective of like, of you and I are just alike in terms of the ideas that we have? How do you say, okay, well, I have this idea after this idea after this idea. I'm still working on this idea, but now I have this idea and it needs to be implemented.
So basically, you're in the software world, what you're calling is like sprints. And you have things that are important, have things that are urgent, and things that are both. So a glitch obviously is both. Like we got to drop everything and focus on that. Great companies have people that focus on glitches, but they never stop the thing that's the next idea. Whenever you have to stop the train to work on the train, that's never great. Like it's a slow process to get back going. And like do it from this standpoint too, is like on a day-to-day basis, if you're constantly switching tasks, studies show that it takes like really 30 minutes to get into deep work. And so if you're like, yeah, let me pay this bill real quick. And it's like, oh, let me enter this check in. I want to make a post. And it's like, I didn't finish that bill. Let me get back. You're just bouncing back and forth versus time blocking. Like this is only for check-ins. Great. This is only for content. Great. This is only for this. You'll get way more done doing that. So ideas have to be, when I look at ideas, I look long-term of ideas, not just short-term. A lot of people just see the short-term, which is why they start a bazillion different ideas, but never actually see them through. My dad called me. He's like, son, you're a finisher. Most people don't finish things that they start. And I take pride in that because, like, if we're going to do it, we do it. I don't start and stop. For me, I think that when we're coming up with ideas on our business, we have to focus on how fast can I bring it to market? Who do I need, or what has to happen from a work standpoint to get it to market and then keep it in market? I have a lot of great ideas that I want to do, but I'm the one that has to do the fulfillment. I can't have a team member do it. And I'm like, don't do the idea. It's a great idea, but is it going to be worth taking you out of the CEO seat to do that idea? Probably not. Not a great idea. You can't do it now. Pin that for later when you get a bigger team. Because it's like, great ideas only work when we can finish them.
Yeah.
And so the job of the CEO and the business owner, like each of us here, is like, you have to basically, you've got to do something, master it, and then you have to have somebody replace you doing it. And if you can't replace it, then I shouldn't have started it if the goal was for me not to do this forever.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that, I think that's a big one. And then also, how fast, like, is it scalable? Right? So e-commerce is the most scalable business. Coaching is like the least scalable. In person could be scalable through locations. Right? Just like a coaching can be scalable through assistant coaches, would be the same as other locations. And so, how much capital is required? How fast can I move? And then, can I have somebody else do it? Or am I going to be stuck doing that thing? And so, we had this idea, and I still like the idea. It's just now it would be all on me because I don't have the team members to essentially help facilitate it. Would be, hey, for $500 a month, I teach people how to do ads. It's a group call every single week. Weeks 1 and 3 are on intro into ads, and then weeks 2 and 4 are on, let's say, scaling. And it's like, that's completely scalable. I just have to now say, hey, every week I'm going to designate an hour of time to doing the thing.
Yep.
I'm like, do I want to do that?
I think I've kind of seen that happen within some people's coaching businesses where they bring up an idea of, okay, like it comes from a good place in them where they're like, you know what? I want to start bringing more value to my roster and my clients. And I want to also start marketing this so people may see another benefit of signing up with me. And sometimes this idea goes along the lines of, I'm going to have a bi-weekly call with the team, or I'm going to have every month, I'm going to have a review with the team where everybody can get on a call and ask me questions. But they don't realize, like, now they have to they have to have a window of time for that.
They have to finish.
And they have to finish it. And let's say they do start it. They're going to start to realize, like, wow, I can't just stop doing this because I can't really have somebody replace me doing it. Nobody's going to want to get on a call with some, assistant coach that they have no idea who they are. If your entire goal is to have more time freed up for yourself. Now, I don't know. That's just one thing I thought about as you were talking about that.
So I love the group calls. I think they're so important. I think they're great for team building. I think a lot of people, though, don't realize that it's about the who, not the what.
Yeah.
So Check-ins Pro. Every Wednesday, 4 p.m., we have a call where somebody else comes on and teaches something. If I wanted to, I could intro and bounce. And then I have somebody else fulfilling a time, adding value to a group. At the same time, you could have it to where, let's say you had a group call. Most people actually what they do is they bite off more than they can chew because they didn't see long term. I'm going to look long term. Because when you say I'm going to do 2 calls a week, group style, and then every single person I work with is going to get 1 hour call a week. I'm like, I love that if you charged $1,000 a month.
Yep.
The problem is that you told me you wanted to make 50 grand and you charge 500 a month, and that's great. But even at 50 clients at $1,000, how are you going to have 50 hours worth of calls and do check-ins and keep posting on social media and like your life. It just doesn't make sense. And so what we have to do is say, hey, what's the dream? What do we want to accomplish? Work backwards. And I think a lot of times people go from like, yeah, I've been doing a call a week. I'm just going to raise my price. I'm like, how about you just keep it at the same price and just go to 2 calls a month instead of 4 and just keep selling it as is. Or I think if somebody wants to start a group, it's like, hey, just start with once a month and just have the call. Don't overcommit yourself and just do that. And then now you can bring on other people. Not a lot of people just want to hear you speak. I've come to realize that.
Yeah.
But they'll listen to 2 people have a podcast, if you would.
I have a question.
You'll have just an interaction, right? So no one would just listen to Joe Rogan speaking, but they will watch a podcast of him talking to somebody else. And so the idea here is people say, well, who would I bring on? I'm like, well, depending on who you work with, you could bring on a psychiatrist. You could bring on a therapist. You could bring on a realtor. You could bring on anybody that would add value to that person's group. If you train women, why don't you bring on a makeup artist for an hour? Give some real value to their life other than you just talking about mindset.
Yeah.
That's how you keep people in the community, is that it's more than just you talking about how they can become better. But don't you like show me how I can actually be better? How can I do my hair? Makeup artist, somebody that talks about financial savings, right? You talk about somebody that talks about whatever, right? Style. Like, this is how you shop for yourself. These are things that go together, like a travel, whoever. But it's just like, that's cool stuff. I just think not enough people do cool stuff in the group because they always think inside this little container. And it's like, you got to remember, it's not about what it is you deliver. It's about who you serve. And if you serve moms have a lot going on in their lives that they would love to learn about.
That's a great point. So going back to what you said earlier about people being finishers and people being starters and never finishing, when it comes to AR, what have you guys seen to be the conversion rate of like how many people actually finish what they commit to when signing up with AR?
That's a great question. So we break them into 2 categories.
Okay.
Under 10K and over 10K a month. Usually the person that does over 10K a month, this is what they do. It's their full business. It's the only thing they do. And they're wanting, eager, and willing to grow the business. They know they need a system. And then there's some people that are under 10K that are also that. They're just in the beginning and they're just trying to figure it out. And then you have people that if I pay you, I'll make money, right? It's like, that's the same person that would like pay you money to lose weight. Oh, I got to eat good too. I thought just paying you, the pounds would just fall off.
Yeah.
So same concept. So if you're over 10K, we've had less than, I think, like at this point, the numbers went up, but like 15 people in the last 3 years that have quit. Like, you just don't quit.
No shit.
Because we provide way too much value for the price point which we charge.
Yeah.
And so when you're under that, it just depends. Like, are you putting in the work? Are you still focused on doing in-person training? Like, how much have you gone all in on this business? And because it's like, obviously everything, like, since we have a recurring payment, it's kind of like the business has to continue to try to do better, or you're just paying the money and not doing anything to get out of it. So you're like, well, I feel like I'm wasting my money. And it's like, well, it's because you are. Like, you post twice a week. You're wasting your money.
Yep.
Right.
So it's cool because one of the things that you said there is that AR is producing so much value that when it comes time for the client, or let's say the coach, let's say the coach making under 10K a month here, when it comes time for them to do the work, you guys give so much value that they don't have as much anxiety when it comes to actually getting the work done. Yeah. Because a lot of people are
what work should I do?
Yeah. Okay, that's kind of what I'm trying to say. Because a lot of people are going to be like, "Yo, AR, the team of AR is just laying it out for me here, but oh man, I still got to do this on my end." Like, shit, like they don't know if they have enough time. They don't realize that they're wasting a lot of their time throughout the day. You guys give enough value. This is how it happens. This is how it's done. If you want to be successful with us, this is how you must operate. So then it kind of something switches in their brain where they're like, okay, now I am team AR. This is not just me being a client of them. I am now part of the team. I need to step it up. Nice. I love it.
I try to view it from this standpoint. Every program works if you work the program.
Yeah.
Every diet works if you diet. So it's usually, I'm just using 10K. It's just a rough marker because that's usually the difference when somebody quits their job or not. It's just strictly based off of, do you show up for yourself or do you not? Like, we have group calls every single week. And if you did everything that we said that you were supposed to do, you would find success. Period. Like Taylor, they did the 4K in an hour. I feel like they would have been successful, but he did the things that I said, and I think he made twice as much money that he would if he did it on his own.
100%.
If you just do what I say and do what the team says, it's going to work. I've done it for 800 different coaches. You just have to just listen and just do the things. The same confidence you have whenever you provide a meal plan for somebody, the weight's going to come off. You just got to freaking do it, man. I can't do it for you, but if you'll just follow this, you'll see the results. And that's just what it is in business as well. If you just do the things, you will see success. You might not grow as fast or lose the weight as fast as you want, but we're going to see progress.
Have you noticed a lot of coaches, especially as we're getting into a day and age where there's more AI, more technology, or not even AI really, just like more technology, more avenues of things that are going to help you delegate easier. Have you noticed that more coaches have been eager to be successful with you, or it's getting harder to kind of get them up to speed of like, yo, this is how you got to operate if you want to do this?
I don't know that AI has made a difference in that.
Yeah, that's what kind of why I said wait and kind of don't like.
Yeah.
We didn't mean to say AI.
I do think that like the last 6 months, coaches have been a lot more eager than the previous 6. And honestly, I think a lot of that's because of them starting to see that you don't have to make the best content to make a connection. You just have to make content. And so I would say like in 2024 and going into 2025 up until probably like September-ish, you had to have like these really great edits to find success.
Yeah.
Michael Smoke has changed that for everybody. I too believe that he changed the game. And so it's just talking head. And now we're going into basically a trust recession. So it's like, hey, I don't want your fancy edits. I just want to hear you raw and real speaking to the camera. That way I can buy into what it is you're trying to say. Because all the fancy stuff is, well, it's business. And I don't want to buy into a business. I want to buy from a person. And so I just feel like that's where it's kind of gone.
I like it.
Do you think that right now is a very hard time to get into coaching or a very easy time to get into coaching and be successful?
I think every day is easier than the day after. So, because I think it's always going to get harder.
Yeah.
So
I feel like
the best time to make a post is like today. The best time to get started is today because it's going to be harder tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's one more person that's joining the platform, one more person making the post, one more person buying a course to learn how to do it. So I think that I don't think it's crazy difficult to build and grow a coaching business. It's so amazing to me. I still realize that like, bro, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of coaches doing $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 a month. And I've have no idea who they are. And there's 7 people away from me. And I think I'm like, I know a lot of people. And it's just like, bro, it is like a whole nother world out there. Like, I just don't people realize like, they're like, well, this is saturated. I'm like, that's you saying that because you're lazy.
100%.
Like, I just don't believe that it's saturated when we have how many people in the United States? 350 million?
A million, yeah.
Yep. And then like 270 million of those are overweight.
Yeah.
What are you talking about saturated? The only thing is saturated is their diets.
Ain't that a fact?
So it's like you can find somebody, you just got to walk outside. But to think that's like, well, all these other coaches, like, I don't want to be like them. You mean successful? You don't
You
want
mean
to post what
fighting?
they're posting because they get leads? You don't want to
Exactly.
post and talk about that because he thinks you look silly? Like, the people that post, the ones that get out there, like, they're the ones that are getting traction because they're taking action.
Mhm.
Like, the person to me that says, like, I don't want to be like this, or I don't want to be like that, is like the person saying, well, I don't want to be big and bulky like that. I don't want to be that big. It's like, yeah, you're not going to,
'Cause you
but you
never
should
knew the
probably start
best.
lifting.
Yeah.
And it's just like, we don't do the thing because there's like, we try to put this gap between us. And it's like your energy, your effort rather, is actually what's limiting you taking the next step.
Yeah, that's very true. A lot of people don't realize that though, because a lot of people are not, they don't realize that they're not doing it for them and they're making that decision for other people. You're making the decision not to post and not to fill that gap between you and your goal, not because you've been telling yourself this entire time that it's because you don't want to look salesy or you don't want to, be like other coaches. No, it's happening because you worry more so about what they think than what
Yes.
you can be doing and how you should operate. Just like bodybuilding, bro. We're in a day and age where people are more focused on their bodybuilding journey being somebody else's than their own. It's
Yeah.
the same thing with coaching. I'm sick and tired of seeing coaches, just the way they post. And I know that they're much different in person and I know who they are and I know their character. And the way they are online is more so for other people than it is for them.
Yeah.
And it's disingenuous and I hate it. And I don't know how to talk to them about it. I don't know how to bring it up, but I don't even know if it's my place to bring it up because at the same time, I'm going to fucking lead by example. And I hope that they start to realize that success leaves clues. And they're like, you know what? I should start moving like Nick. I want to be like what Nick's doing. Don't start making content like me because guess what? It ain't going to fucking work because people are going to be like, yo, that's not you. But operate your day how I operate my day. Operate your mind how I operate my mind in different degrees, but learn how to translate it over to your life. And then you'll start to get traction and then you'll start to do it for yourself, not for how other people think of you.
This came back and I pulled this up earlier because I can't remember what we were talking about, but it was like telling the truth to somebody. Oh, this is what it was. You talk about people, it's like, America's gotten really overweight and it's like to call somebody fat is just like terrible. Overseas in Europe, the family will be like, you're getting fat. You need to lose
Yeah.
weight.
Yeah. 100%.
So Ephesians 4:15, speak in truth and love. Speak the truth in love.
Yes.
I'm communicating honestly and accurately, but with the motive of genuine care and building others up, not tearing them down, leading to spiritual maturity and the healthy growth of the church body. Essentially, and I got called out on this the other day from a good friend of mine. And he was like, I'm going to practice Ephesians. He was like, out of my love for you, I'm concerned about you in bodybuilding.
Hmm.
He's like, is that what's best for your longevity? And I'm saying that because I love you. And I'm
What
like,
was your reply?
my reply? My reply was, I love you. Thank you so much for saying that. Not a lot of people will tell me that. And I appreciate that. And I'm doing all the things that I can to be the healthiest that I can be. And I know that you're going to support me either way that I go. And so I just want to let you know that I appreciate that. And I love you for it.
Nice.
Because at the end of the day, it is our choice.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's that person's choice whether they want to keep eating that garbage food. But if I don't say, hey, I love you enough to say, I think we should like make better decisions for yourself, for your kids, for your spouse. I say that because I love you. That it becomes where it's taken offensive. But if we go biblical, that's what we're supposed to do. We're
Yeah.
supposed to keep each other accountable to ourselves and the higher standard of what we're supposed to be. You see somebody cheating on their wife out of truth and love. Hey, you shouldn't be doing that, man.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, whether it's food, lust, cussing, right? Taylor using the word Jason,
I
right?
was
It's
about
just
to
like,
say
how
that.
do we have
I
to
was
keep
literally
each
about
other tight on that? Jesus
Jesus.
Christ.
I thought that's what it was, but I'm like, it can't be
Yeah.
that.
And it's just like, hey, I should be like, hey, that's not what we do as Christians,
Yeah.
right? It's like, but that's because I love them, right? And so it's like, how do we keep each other accountable because we love each other?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's missing is that love is no longer in the picture
Checks and
of like
checks and
wanting to
balances.
help.
Checks and balances.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden now when we say anything truthful, It's a personal
You're,
attack.
you're an asshole.
Right. And
What
it's like,
Bible
so
verse
now
did
it's
you say
there's
it
this
was?
fine line to where it's like, I can't, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
No, I didn't ask for your opinion.
I believe it's
Right.
Ephesians 4. Ephesians 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ephesians 4:15. Speak the truth in love. And it's just one of those things to where it's like, if we have to hold each other accountable, or who is?
Mm-hmm.
Because we aren't good enough to just be perfect on our own. That's where the community and the tribe is so important. And when we get out here alone, operating by ourselves, usually doesn't end up well. So
No,
I think the best group you can have is the one that's willing to tell you the hard truth,
that's a fact.
the
I
tough
love you enough
love.
to tell you what you need to hear, and it may not be what you want to hear,
Exactly.
but
Because if you're not willing to tell me that you love me, or you're not willing to tell me the hard truth, then it's like you don't care enough about me. Why am I around you?
also, how can I trust you?
Well, yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like I got to trust you enough to put me in my place when needed.
Yeah.
I heard this past weekend a sermon, and it basically said that, or 2 weeks ago, rather, it was like, I have 4 people in my life that they have permission to tell me when I'm out of line.
Nice.
And I
4
was
people.
like, oh, that was just his 4 people that he truly trusted that could come to him. And anything he would have a problem with, he would go to them and be like, man, I've got this issue. And if saying, yeah, that's everybody else's fault. They have, their job is to go, nope, that's your fault. You got to own that.
Do you think too many people, and sorry, boys, because I know we're going to get long here on the pod, but I kind of had one more question with that, because you said that he had 4 people that he trusted to kind of give him those harsh truths. Do you think most people depend on the opinions of too many other people, and then it paralyzes them and they don't know what decision to make? This person's saying this thing, this person's saying that thing. I don't know what decision to make because they don't know who actually cares about them.
I don't think that anybody or enough people have anybody that actually will tell them the truth. I don't think
Ain't
it's
that
too many. I think it's not enough,
that's a great
because
Or
you have to
they're
give
too
somebody
soft to
permission
handle
to
the
do
truth.
that.
Yeah.
Taylor, say that again.
I said, or they're too soft to handle the truth and they don't want anyone to tell them.
So they purposely seek out people that aren't going to tell them the truth.
Yes.
100%. I just had this happen the other day, dude. I had a kid that I've been coaching for a while. Very nice gentleman. Okay. Came to me with a lot of things going on in his life. Okay. And I care about this kid a lot. All right. He's very nice. He's one of my bodybuilders. A lot of things going on in his life. And I broke it down. I'm like, you know what? At the end of the day, man, this is your fault. Like, this is you. You not having the money, depending on this person to pay for your shit. This is you. Okay. I was very straightforward with him. I'm like, I'm telling you this because I know that this is the man that you can become, and the man that you can become needs to hear this. He was receptive to it, and it turned out that he felt pressure, and he wasn't able to take that hard truth, and he ended up leaving. And the thing is, it's like, you know what? Because I know how he operates, he's going to sit on that, and he's going to sit on the decision of him leaving after I called him out on his shit. And I know for a fact he's going to be coming back. And we didn't talk about him coming back at all. But it's just like, sometimes you'll say the things that you need to say to that individual, and they make the decision that you didn't expect. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to surprise you down the road.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it's one of those things to where there need to be people in our lives that we give that permission to, that we share everything with, that you can be like, hey, you're the person that I need to keep me in check, because if I was to go, you're the person I'd want that would keep my house in order. You're the person that would help take care of my wife and whatever is needed. Like, you're the person that I trust. And so I need that same in return for me, not just the people around. And so I think that just needs to be a hard conversation, because obviously, like, sometimes when we give hard truths to people and they didn't ask for it, it's they're just not usually going to be taken well.
True.
And so it's hard to give advice, because I don't view this as advice. I view this as, hey, you're not living the way that you're supposed to live based on the standard that I know you do.
That's 100% how I approach it.
This is the gut check for you as your Christian brother, or as your best friend, or whatever. Because I would want you to do the same to me in this moment. And I'm telling you this because I love you and you told me to check you. And I think this is worth thinking twice.
Totally agree. Dude, what one hell of a way to end this episode, man. Boys, we just had a great podcast. We covered a crazy amount of topics: bodybuilding, drugs, mindset, our faith, like everything. That's why I love pods every week, dude. We get into so much cool stuff. And now here's my girlfriend calling me to come eat with her.
I got to jump on the next one, guys. Appreciate it, man. Great episode. Next week, we'll make it happen.
You got it. See you, boys.
Peace.
See ya.